Good afternoon, friends. In the previous video, we discussed about NumPy and why NumPy is fast, in which we went into details about the features which make NumPy very fast, which is vectorization and broadcasting. In this video, let's keep our hands dirty and let's try to set up Python and NumPy so that we can go through all the example codes that I have. So, the very first step is to download and install Python. For Python, I've created this link. I will share with you. Just go to the python.org downloads, and there it will automatically show that we have got Windows. I'm running in Windows. Similarly, if you're running on Mac OS, it will show what is the latest downloadable Python version. As soon as you click it, you will have the Python installer, and you can just follow the steps. They are very basic steps how to install Python in your system. Once you are done with this installation, you can open the command prompt. So just type cmd. So we are just going to verify whether our Python installation was done. So I already installed previously. So I will just go with so just type Python minus big B. And as you can see that I have already got Python 3.10.0 version already installed in my system. Now let's try to understand the concept of Python virtual environments. Guys, if you have worked with Docker or containerization, I think it's a very similar concept. But in Python language, it was like much before when the Docker got installed. So came into the picture. So virtual environments, as the name says, that we can create a separate type of sandbox or a container where we can have our own version of Python and the dependent libraries. For example, I've given this in this diagram. We can see that there are like examples given for 3 virtual environments. For virtual environment 1, we have got Python version 2.7, and all the third-party libraries are installed. Say, for example, NumPy 1.4, 1.4.4, and all. Similarly, I've got another 2 other environments having different version of Python and the dependent libraries. So this actually is a very, very helpful, a very useful like concept that we can separate out our environments based on the projects that we are working on. For example, if you're working in the office and you have got like some quant strategies that you're building using Python and associated pandas library. Of course, I mean, we are going to get the newer version of Python later on, and like future in 3 months, 6 months, we'll get a newer version. But we don't want our the previous version that we were using which has already gone live in Office. We don't want to like alter that versions there because it's already working fine, and that's all we want to need. That's why this concept of virtual environment is very good if you want to like just pin down the exact versions of Python and the dependent libraries into one sandbox that we want every time we want to use in our live environment. So having virtual environment actually it helps us to isolate the Python interpreter libraries and scripts used for a specific project, as we just discussed. And also it enables that we can have multiple environments based on the multiple projects that we are running on the same server, each having its own versions. And just think of it as a sandbox or a Docker container where we can play around with different packages and their versions without worrying about messing up our other sandboxes. Now let's create our first like virtual environment project where I will just show the demo. Just open a command prompt. So I'm showing Windows. So I've got the Windows, this command prompt open. Let me actually make some space here. Okay, now I will just send this my home folder. You can use your project folder wherever you're creating your projects. So I will create a folder something as mkdir test. I'll go inside this. So what I'm doing is I've made a directory called as test, which is my test project for now. And I change directly into test. So I'm inside this test directory now. Now I can create this virtual environment, a new virtual environment inside this test project or test folder by running this command. So Python -m, we are actually invoking this venv, and the new virtual environment that we're creating is venv. This is by convention. I can use any name I want. I can use like say Backstreet Programmer or Rishi or John, whatever name I want. So let's go with the convention. I will use ven that actually like specifies that in our project. This is venv is our virtual environment in which we have got all our virtual environment scripts to activate or deactivate it. So let's go through it. I will run this command first and show what's inside that folder. Control C, and I will just shift insert. Okay. So it's going to take some time, and it will create a new virtual environment folder inside my test project. So as I just forwarded it, so here if I do a dir command, I can see that there is a virtual environment folder being created inside it. So let's go again inside this folder, and I again create dir. I can see there is an include lib, this config file, as well as a scripts folder. So let's go through it. Now, as you can see that inside my user Rishi test folder, this is our project folder. We can have a lot of Python scripts here. But inside this is venv folder that we just created. This is our virtual environment folder. If I go to the scripts directory, I can see that there are scripts here. Like, for example, we have got a pip, which is a package manager. I will go through it later, very soon. Pip is actually used to install the different type of modules like pandas or matplotlib that we'll be using in our projects when I demonstrate the NumPy code. So this is used as a package manager to install the stuff. And Python, as we created, I think the Python by default, it's using Python 3.10.0 version, which is installed in my system. And now these are the two important steps: activate.bat and deactivate.bat. So what it means is that whenever we want to activate our virtual environment, only then we can actually use it as a sandbox, and then we can run our Python commands. So activate is used, and once we want to come out of our virtual environment, we have to use deactivate. So these are the two commands that we need to know, that once we want to start our project and run with all our dependent packages that we have installed in our virtual environment, we have to use these activate. And once we want to move out, is deactivate. This is our scripts folder. And in the lib, it would be in the site packages, you will see whatever modules that you have installed. For example, if I install, say, NumPy or pandas, all would be listed here. So this actually comprises of lib folder. Similarly for include, right now it's blank. I think include is used whenever we want to use some other things. So let's leave it for now. I mean, we should focus about lib and script first. And here is our config file. So I just open it. So maybe I'll just open it with here. Let's go here. So the environment, and I will just use cat py in this config. So here you can see that my home directory is Python 3.10, where I have installed my Python 3.0 version. Now include system side packages. It's false right now, and the version is 3.10.0. This version is about Python version. So right now it's like quite just like 3 lines here. But as we keep on including our the new modules and all, it might have some extra entries in that. So this is the very default setup. We just created our environment and just created our this Python virtual environment with by default the pip was installed here. Now let's activate our virtual environment. As we discussed that for this we have to go to venv and then say /scripts/activate, right? So right now you can see that I have got this bracket here in which it specifies that I have activated my virtual environment, which is named as venv. If I have it named with like John or Rishi, then it would be having that particular name. So we can put any name, but just by convention we use venv. And now we are already activated the answer. Then now if I just say Python, say -pip, say install, and maybe if I just type say pandas, so it will install pandas package here using the pip installer package, and then it will install all the stuff. So we'll go through in details when we actually create our environment, but I just wanted to give you a taste of how the virtual environment works and how we can use it to install our packages and activate it and deactivate it once we want to move out. So right now, just let's go back here, and then one useful command is that if I want to see that what are the default, because I haven't installed any package yet in this test virtual environment, so I can list down that what are the total default packages that are installed here. I can use this by using Python -m pip list. When I do this, I can see that by default we have got this pip, but this version being installed here, and the setup tools is also there with this particular version. These are the default. Whenever we create a virtual environment, these two packages are installed by default. And it also gives me a warning that I can upgrade my pip version. So by default, it is creating this version. I can upgrade it to 24.2. For this, they have also given the command that I can use, which is Python -m pip install -upgrade pip. So we can do that. So this is like very useful. The command that we can that is prints out by default that this particular version is downgraded. We can upgrade it, and it also gives the command that we can use to upgrade it. Now to just come out of this virtual environment, we can just type deactivate. So we are out of it now. If I do a dir here, our virtual environment is here. So this is like a very basic, like a primer for what is a virtual environment. Of course, I will go into detailed steps when we actually create our environment for this project when we are learning NumPy. So guys, this was all about this video. I mean, if you're using PowerShell, then remember to run this command. I've noted it on in the description list. So you have to use this if you're using PowerShell to create your virtual environment. Similarly, once we create a project and then we have installed a lot of modules in that, and we want to actually copy it or exactly the same project and the same modules, we can run this command python m minus pip freeze, and then we can out direct it to a requirements.txt file. By running this command, all our exact versions of the modules that we have installed in our virtual environment, that would be listed down in this requirements.txt. And this, we can use this, and then we can use this requirements.txt. We can ship it to another server, another OS, or whatever, or another Docker environment. And inside that, if you want to exactly create the same version of the modules for a new project, you can just run this python minus m pip install, and then give this -r requirements.txt. In that case, it will create exactly the same virtual environment with all the exactly same modules versions that you have used before in the previous project. And similarly, for the update pip, as we already saw that we are going to use this python m minus pip install minus u pip to update our pip version. So this was all about this video. I just wanted to give you a taste about the virtual environment. Now in the next video, we'll go through the detailed steps to how to set up our project for our NumPy introduction. Okay, see you all in the next videos.